What is body positivity? Body positivity is a social movement focused on the acceptance of all bodies, no matter the size, shape, gender, physical abilities or skin tone. It challenges the beauty standards. When this was known as fat acceptance, it was about fat pride and empowerment to eliminate stigmas around fatness. Unfortunately, people of colour would be shut out of this. White activists did not want to take on more than one issue because they thought fat acceptance would get lost. They also believed black communities were more accepting of fat people. This has changed through more recent years to include all communities.
Where it all started. In the 1960s, a movement was started to end the way fat people were treated. This is where fat acceptance began. NAAFA promoted a healthy model at every size where health is not measured by weight but signs such as heart rate. The movement really took off in the 90s, where protests would be happening all over America, including outside the White House and gyms. The term positivity started in the 2000s, where anonymity led to body love and self-expression. However, it brought in complications including body shame and bullying. Hashtags like #bodypositivity allow people to connect in new ways. Selfies and OOTDs represented people's acceptance of their bodies. This created a safer space for people to explore this than in real life. Having negative body image can cause problems such as depression and anxiety, alcohol and drug abuse, and body dysmorphia. Men can suffer body dysmorphia too. Symptoms are becoming increasingly common in male teenagers. In a study in a school, 30% of males wanted bigger muscles and to gain weight, while 17% of the males thought they were underweight even though they were not.
What is body dysmorphia disorder? Body dysmorphia disorder is an anxiety disorder related to body image. If you experience obsessive worries about a perceived flaw or developed compulsive behaviours such as excessive use of mirrors, you likely have BDD. The obsessions and behaviours of this disorder cause emotional distress and can really impact the day-to-day. This means it can cross over with obsessive compulsive disorder. It is estimated to affect 2% of the population. Women reported higher rates of BDD than men. Those with BDD can take a long time to report due to fear of judgment. Several ways to cause BDD can be childhood bullying, having a perfectionist attitude, or being diagnosed with mental health conditions. BDD has been seen to affect teenage boys and girls equally. This is because the body changes drastically in these developmental years. This means a lot of teenage sufferers, the symptoms subside in adulthood. Though men and women both suffer with BDD, women suffer at a slightly increased rate. This has been seen to be due to social pressures being female dominant.
So I'm James, I'm 19, I go to Henley College currently. I'm hoping to go to university next year. I'm studying film right now. And social media. Well, I started using social media when I was around 15. I started secondary school. It was the first time I was away from home really, and my mum gave me a phone. And of course, going to secondary school first day, everyone was like, "What's your Instagram? What's your Snapchat?" Because it's just the first thing you ask basically. And so I downloaded Instagram, started following my friends and whatnot. Obviously, they get dragged into following influencers and lifestyle pages and all that kind of stuff. And zoom forward a couple of years, Snapchat, Instagram, Twitter, TikTok, whatever, all of it. Up until about a couple of months ago, when I kind of realised the effect that social media has on the way you view the world, and I decided just to quit it for a month, as a test kind of to myself to see if I could, but also just, to see the effect it would have on me. And after a month, I returned, and it gave me an interesting perspective on social media itself, rather than social media defining my perspective, And I guess it's good to remind yourself you're in control sometimes of your own life, because quite often you get fed things a lot that are out of your control, or because an algorithm or someone in society see them. I think it's good to step back for a while and see them for yourself rather than seeing what someone else wants you to do. Getting back in control. Why did I feel the need to take a break from social media? Okay. I would say that I'd gotten to a pretty dark area of my life, as everyone does. And, you know, sometimes you have to go a little bit further down to go up. And I guess that's what happened, because, you know, when I got down, I started realising, panicking again, getting into like a old state of mind. And I realised that there are, you know, obviously things that can happen in your life that can affect you, but how mentally stable you are or how healthy you are is going to help you deal with them. So I realised, okay, I need to get mentally stable, I need to get healthy. So I started doing things like going to the gym, eating healthier and whatnot. Started thinking more efficiently about my future, but also took a break from social media. I stopped using it as much at first. I barely used it to the point where I thought, okay, I can take a break for a month. I took a break for a month and it was fine. And now I have my notifications actually permanently turned off, which means that throughout the day I don't get a random ding or a beep, or whenever I open my phone I don't see, oh my god, that person messaged me. You know, that anxiety and whatever is all taken away from it. And I think it does create a lot of mental calm and like peace, not constantly being involved and attacked. What kind of social media do I consume right now? Well, right now I don't really use social media as much once I discovered that, you know, you can enjoy other things in life outside of it. You know, the things I kind of look at nowadays I'll occasionally scroll through Instagram. I checked it recently and I don't think I use it more than an hour a day, which is pretty good in terms of other people's usage, you know. It may not be good in terms of, you know, some people's, but in terms of people my age, I think I'm doing pretty okay. But the things that I watch on Instagram or look at mainly be from friends talking to me, friends I haven't seen in a long time, friends that I know will just send me funny pictures they've seen or taken or found on the internet, funny videos, my friends sending me links to music he likes and whatnot, or you know, advice on Instagram is quite interesting, something that the algorithm has chosen for me recently. It's just advice about health, life, direction, motivation. Without social media, would life be easier? That ties into it, you know. Yes and no. I mean, a lot of the guidance I'm getting right now is from social media. A big inspiration to me, Ziz, was a social media influencer, all about fitness and health and living a life that he wants to live. Without social media, I wouldn't be able to hear his message, his life, his story, and I wouldn't be able to be inspired just by like many other people that I'm inspired by. However, as Liz mentioned earlier, without social media, I feel like people would live in the moment. You know, they would appreciate themselves more. They wouldn't have this constant weighing over them of, oh, I need to do this, I need to do that. I remember when I used to use social media a lot more back in the day, I used to use things like TikTok, like Reddit and stuff like that, like all the time, and it would just be scrolling through video, and it just wouldn't stop basically. It's one of the reasons why I just don't use TikTok anymore. It's because it's really damaging to have that instant scroll, hit, whatever, instead of just appreciating where you are, who you're with, what you're doing.
Hi, I'm George. I'm a teacher. I am also a photographer. This usually means my social media usage is quite photography based. So I follow a lot of prominent photographers, I suppose, but also people just leaving university so that I can try and stay at the forefront of the industry. Yeah, also a little bit of art as well, I suppose, and sport. Do I think social media is a safe space? Yes and no. I think that it adds a lot of pressure to individuals, both to engage, but also act in certain ways. For example, with celebrities presenting themselves, people expect or think that they're expected to act in a certain way. Also, people might be a little bit kind of intimidated by social media. So I think it has good things in terms of sharing, in terms of like the distribution of content. That could be photography, art, films, whatever it might be. but equally it has those downsides and negatives where people have those, or feel there are expectations, and obviously people behind a keyboard have no face. So a worry for me would be where it isn't safe is anybody can say anything and have a veil of anonymity. So as a teacher and as part of an educational institution, I think education on social media is key. I think people need to have the understanding, or need to be taught the understanding, that social media always presents the best parts of us, or celebrities, or your best mate. That you're never, or the majority of people will rarely put up an embarrassing photograph of themselves, or something that might lead to them looking a little bit silly. Particularly in the case of a celebrity where society looks up to them, they use them as role models, particularly when it comes to body positivity. I think that the majority of people can get quite negative, can get severely impacted by the lack of context around a situation. Celebrities are a great example because they will always post the best thing that will get them the most views, that will get them the most likes, the most shares, whatever it might be. But actually, when they wake up in the morning, they are not that person. They are not instantly ready to jump straight onto Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, Snapchat, TikTok, whatever it might be, and post that photograph of themselves, because it's not going to make them look great or fantastic. Some people will, like obviously there is a community of people that will, but I don't think there's that level of understanding or awareness, and I think maybe that's what's missing. Social media needs to be taken with a pinch of salt, basically, to show, right, on one hand you've got this version of reality which is all fantastic and everything is brilliant and every day is a holiday or fantastic. On the other hand, that is maybe like a really small percentage of anybody's life, and the normal day-to-day boring tasks like emptying a dishwasher or like walking a dog or cleaning the house sort of thing, those sorts of things rarely communicated. So I think that part is really key for educational institutions to try and instill in younger people, to make them a little bit more aware and conscious of this social media as a whole and what it's aiming to do. I completely agree. It's a difficult question for a white male to answer because I'm incredibly privileged. The media present me, my gender, my race higher than anybody else. So I'm one of those people at the most difficult end of that, and that have benefited most from the media's like sort of rejection, refusal to represent any other social group. It's never something that I feel particularly comfortable about. I feel that actually in recent years, this is going to sound really unfair because, again, I'm speaking from the male perspective. I feel that there's been more of a push for positive representation, positive, like, sort of more equal representations, but it's still not ever enough. And I think that if you look at companies like Dove, who have for a long time tried to do the body positivity with their like sort of skincare products, and they have shown women of all sizes, all shapes in their adverts, I think that like sort of 10-15 years ago was a great starting point, but it doesn't seem to have really progressed much further than that. And because of the people that control the media industry, the white male, and generally the older white male, I feel that actually this is a movement that is happening at the moment that I worry that it will lose traction. I worry that it will not ever just stick around, that it's a phase that society seems to be going through. And as an educator, as one of the groups that has benefited, it's my responsibility to try and make sure it doesn't just fade away. What makes me happy about my body? When asked a question like that, I think it's very easy to jump to like sort of the physical look, the physical like sort of characteristics. It's not something it's not something I think about on a regular basis, like in terms of the happiness. It's always looking for improvement. I don't know. Yeah, when I think about physical characteristics, that isn't something that I regularly think about. I quite like my beard. It can be ridiculous at times. But yeah, I think people probably go for that physical characteristic thing because it is something that is focused on and something that can be seen and put a value on. It's a physical characteristic that then links into that sort of mental sort of side.
So my name's Sarah. I am 42 and I am a college teacher and I teach media. I work with students all day, every day from the age of 16 to 19, and I understand kind of the social media stuff that they go through and they consume. I don't consume that kind of stuff. Growing up in an age where it wasn't really relevant, I don't really consume it that much. So I guess I go on Facebook, but I go on Facebook to be nosy, not to see what the fashions are or anything like that. I don't have Snapchat, I don't use Twitter. So I'd say Facebook is my only really, and Instagram. I love Instagram, but my Instagram's all about home improvements rather than fashion and what people look like, so slightly different use. So I think it's hidden. I think men's body positivity is hidden. It's that they don't want to admit that they care. It's not macho to care about kind of your image, is it? Or if you do care about your image, you're huge and you are muscles all over the place. It doesn't. A normal man, as we would see them, as females see them, as everybody else sees them, then they're too ashamed, I guess, to talk about it. So I think if hashtag body positivity for men, and it just showed, like it does women, normal men, everyday men who may have that tiny belly because they like a few beers or may not be as stacked as they'd like to be because, you know, life's busy for them too, then I think it would be positive. But would men look at it? Probably not. I don't know if men go on social media. It's all to do with machoism, it's all to do with going out, it's all to do with look what I did at the weekend rather than looking at what you physically look like. So yeah, I think it would be relevant, but would they use it as much as women do? I'm not so sure. Education's key, isn't it? As a teacher of 16 to 18-year-olds, by the time students get to me, it's sometimes too late. And as a parent of an 8-year-old, do I want my daughter to be talking about social norms and social media and things like that? Probably not. So absolutely, I think it's key in education, but I think you have to aim it at the right age, and I think you have to get it right. Doing it too early is just highlighting a problem that's about to arise, and doing it at college is just way too late because students are already consumed by what it is that they think is important. So I think secondary school age is vital and key to highlight the effects social media has on everybody, not just that age group, but everybody. I think it has to be part of the education, not just the tutor system. Everybody talks about, oh, we do that in tutor for half an hour a week. It's not good enough. When you've got a 13, 14-year-old who is most drastic situations trying to kill themselves because what they see on social media, half an hour a week doesn't cut it. I think it's far more important, or as equally as important as your times tables, how to write, how to put grammar into a sentence, you know, that's education, but so is this now, and times are changing. And I absolutely think that lessons on social media and how to help students get through those years now is something that I never needed, and I'm very grateful for the fact that I never needed it, but I think it's vital now. because as a teacher of 16 to 18-year-olds, I've seen devastation. You know, I've seen students come who hate themselves so much because of what they've seen on social media that it's just heartbreaking. So I think it absolutely needs to be improved, and I think it needs to become part of a curriculum, not just half an hour a week in a tutor session. It all depends what you mean by representation of men and women. Staged representation, where they are in a photo shoot. No, it's not fair, it's not natural. You don't look like that in real life. All these Instagram models, so to speak, they spend hours touching, you know, making everything look perfect, and they've got the correct lighting and they've got the correct angle and all that kind of stuff, and naturally they don't look like that at all. So representation in staged media, I don't think is fair. But then you flip that and you've got images of celebrities walking out in the street when they haven't done their hair, they haven't done the makeup, they're on the school run and they just look like normal people. That's real representation, but the media mock them for looking like that. So you've got people who are okay going out and looking the way they want to look and looking the natural way, but then somehow it's okay for the media to go, oh, look how fat she is, or she hasn't done her hair today, or wow, hasn't she put on weight in the past few weeks, or he, you know, look at his beer belly, look what he's wearing. And that's them as natural people. So I think the media portrays and takes images of natural people and then mocks them, but then we highlight and we put on a pedestal the people who stage their appearances. So I think that needs to change. I think there needs to be a ban on it. I don't think it's fair that those people who are okay with being natural, we slam for being ugly, and those people who do stage it and stand there and not eat for 2 weeks just so they can get the perfect picture is okay. So I'm gonna go no, probably.
Hi, my name's Amy. I go to Henley College, and I think I started social media about when I was probably in year 7, maybe in year 6 for like texting my mum. But other than that, yeah, it was probably year 7. And I think I watched most like makeup videos and like, don't know, just tried to fit in really with watching things like that. Now it's a little bit different. I kind of like, I've got TikTok and all of that, and I kind of just watch people just go about their daily lives. That's really it.
Do you have any personal experiences with online bullying?
I do, but it was quite a while ago when I used to play Clash of Clans, because I would be on like the chat sites and stuff, like messaging random people, and they used to be quite mean, but it's like, I don't know, mostly because it's anonymous, and like people think that they can just say whatever they want when it's anonymous, but like if people were like their true names or had to be themselves, it would be a lot different. I don't have any recent stories about cyberbullying, but I think that's due to me because of my accounts. They're all private and everything's kind of just seen by the people that I trust and I'm friends with, and I don't think they'd cyberbully me. So that's a little bit like different, because the people that we know to be cyberbullied are those like celebrities and models who have their whole life on the internet for everyone to see, which obviously invites people who they don't trust and they are not so nice to comment and be horrible to them.
So hi, I'm Jay Smith, and I'm the Safeguarding and Wellbeing Manager at the Henley College, and along with that it means I'm also the Deputy Designated Safeguarding Lead. So that all sounds very like big words, but actually it just means that my role is to ensure that students are safe at the college, and the college are doing the right things to ensure we get the best out of students really. A bit about myself, in regards to social media, yes, I've got Instagram, I have Snapchat, I've got Facebook, I do a bit of blogging on the side of my work at the college. So for my friend has got a platform called Music Football Fatherhood, and that's about dads, supporting dads of children really. So they go all for different ages. We have a platform for them to share ideas or support them in what they're doing, to understand that, and that ranges from 0 up to any age, and we've got dads from all different walks of life. So yeah, massive. I think recently we just done a book for dads, and every dad wrote like a story in there to share for other dads. So yeah. So if you look at Love Island and you look at the contestants on Love Island, you would think that the world is full of people who are a certain shape. I think lip fillers is a massive thing at the moment that everyone promotes is what's seen desirable. I think the media promotes certain images, and then you think, if you look at Instagram or you look around the world, not everyone's the perfect shape, or what the media says is a perfect shape. I think it's about promoting that plus, I think what it plus sizes, that's normal. And I think on Instagram, I follow some people, and my wife and I have a conversation about it, and we say, look, this is what's normal. And then for young people, you guys are like sponges, so you take on everything that's happening. And I think it's about us promoting, so brands need to have a better role in contracting or promoting that this is what normal looks like. Because at the moment it's not healthy to promote what normal is looking like. Bleach, teeth, fillers. It's too easy to say we cut it off and don't do it. No, the media is there, social media is there for a reason. And if you think about it, 30 years ago, you wouldn't be aware of certain things like this. So it has its place in society, but I think it needs to be better governed. I think we heard it from with the World Cup, with the team missing penalties, you see it in things, it needs to be better governed. I think if it was better governed, I think it'd be good. But I think because it's out there, it's a free-for-all, it's just crazy. We need to maybe calling people out, cancel culture. I think it's a case of turning comments off, so it's done, not anyone else can post it, or only reputable sources can post things. So I think actually social media has a place in society, but I think it's about how we manage it. So I think, is it a case of turning on filters so you don't go on at certain times, not getting certain information? Think of social media. Social media sometimes is used in a way where you can radicalise